One thing about the world that I experienced and hearing about was the Second World War, when they bombed over in Pearl Harbor. That was a terrible day because of the hatred of the people that bombed Pearl Harbor. And as a matter of fact, they was having a meeting in Washington. The Japanese and the Americans were having a meeting talking about peace, and while they was talking about peace, they was bombing over in Pearl Harbor. All of a sudden, we couldn't have lights on, and we had to have our windows blacked out, and we couldn't walk around at night with a flashlight. Of course, with my brother being overseas later on, they prayed for him, because my mother was one of those people that sensed things and felt things, and she knew something was happening, and they were getting ready to send all the men out to war when he was stationed in Hawaii. They were going to send all these companies over there, and his company was being sent also. But because he drove, he was in transportation, so he drove his general around. And the general said, I'm not letting him go. He's going to stay here with me because he's the only man I can get along with. So that kept him from going overseas. We had an uncle that was in the army, and he was over in France. He told us that he had plenty of girlfriends over there, and that the white soldiers would tell the French women not to have anything to do with the black men, because at night tails would come out. That was the thing that they passed around against the black men. But they were very, very prejudiced. They wouldn't give you a rating hardly ever. You stayed a private first class for almost the whole time you was in there, as in the Second World War. The Japanese were all rounded up and put in a cage. That's what it summarized to me. And we would go to the fence and talk to them till they moved them out. Right there off of 3rd Main. They were caged up just like animals. But that was terrible. But on our way to school, we would stop there and talk to the young lady, and then we would come back and we would say hi and, you know, so forth, and miss you at school and so forth, and then went home. There were no jobs. No jobs and no money. At that time, you could only make $1 a day, and that was a man. At one point, and that was when I was a kid, so I remember that. They was paying Daddy hardly nothing, and wanted to pay Mama $1 a day to do domestics. $1 for 8 hours of work. Can you imagine? But you know, when you're a parent and you have children to feed, a lot of things you endure in order to try to keep your family going. Mostly everybody wanted to forget the old days. I still like them. I still do. I like remembering the old times. That brings you to today.